I lost the screen. There we go.
All right,
I lost.
let's get started so that we can get you guys on to the rest of your day. Hopefully that means that you guys have appointments. You know, Friday evenings are like the best evening to run appointments because more than likely, if they've called you out on a Friday, that means they've called somebody else out for Saturday afternoon. And if you can help them right now, you can give them their weekend back. And what a
True.
what a blessing that would be. Um, so, hey, here we are at the very end. Let's see. I want to share this screen. All the screens and windows move back around the way they're supposed to be. This past weekend, I went to Fort Collins, Colorado, and watched my daughter graduate. And now today, I get to see you guys graduate.
Oh, cool.
Good stuff.
I like Fort Collins.
You are officially graduated. So what happens from here? I hope that that you and your franchise owner, that you guys have set a goal at a bare minimum. Okay, at a bare minimum, you really need to be running 6 to 8 proposals per week. That is a, you know, if you're only running 3 or 4 proposals a week, if you're only getting into that many houses, it's not enough. And it's really, really hard to make this work if you're not getting the at-bats. There might be weeks where you just don't have that many appointments on your calendar. And so you're going to absolutely want to get with your franchise owner and figure out, okay, what do I need to do to knock on some doors? I don't mean walking into a neighborhood and knocking on doors. I mean knocking on real estate agent doors, or knocking on restoration company doors, or property manager doors, or, you know, where's the networking that I need to do locally to build a book of business? You guys saw yesterday, it was that we pulled up statistics for DAs from around the country. And Kyle Santor did over $3 million in sales last year, and not one of those came from a digital lead source. There's not one single home advisor lead on that. That is all repeat referral business. Now, granted, he's been doing it for 38 years. So, you know, you're not going to be there next week, but it starts next week. What is the old proverb? When is the best time to plant a tree?
Now.
Well, the very best day to plant a tree was 10 years ago. When is the second best day to plant a tree? Today, right? So, you know, you can't look and say, well, I need a bunch of local referrals today. You got to plant those seeds early and let that build over time. So, you know, this is the opportunity to start that local marketing, start building your book of business. You really want to have people that when they call the office, you know, Sam, when they call Linda's office, they ask for Sam, right? They don't ask for Floor Coverings International, they ask for Sam. I want Sam to come out and see me. And so what are you doing to knock on those doors? And talk to your franchise owner about what it means to do a little bit of local marketing to build your book of business. And think outside the box, guys. I mean, I've seen people do all kinds of stuff that I thought would never work. What is it? There's the Let Go app, right? That Let Go. I mean, it's for selling used stuff, right? I mean, you know, I'm getting rid of used stuff. I saw one design associate that would put on there, you know, let go $1 for a flooring consultation. I mean, he didn't actually charge him $1, but it was a way of getting people to call him. Okay, well, I don't know. Find stuff that works. But if you'll write 6 to 8 proposals a week, you should be landing 2, 3, 4 of those. Surely in the next 90 days, you can land 18 jobs. And frankly, you ought to be able to land a lot more than that, but you should at least be able to get to that level. If you get to that point, okay, well, that means that you're probably somewhere around $100,000 in sales in the first quarter. That's not, you know, that's not where you want to be for life, but maybe that's a good place to start, and then you build from there. So what are you going to do to keep learning? What are you going to do? What resources are available? Well, the first thing that I'm going to share with you, which you already have, You guys have a group me with all of you tied together. Stay in touch with one another. I also monitor that group me. Now, I'm not going to pop in and, you know, correct people and all. That's not what the point is. But if you tag me and you have a question, I'm going to answer the question. If you ever need me, shoot me a text message. You guys know I'm on Zoom a lot, so I can't answer my phone a lot, but shoot me a text, send me a group me message, whatever you need. And then in addition to that, Jackie Adams, Joe Benincasa are two of the ops coaches at corporate, and they run practice sessions. So if your local office is not practicing with you, if your local office is not doing their thing and really practicing with you, and you see the value of actually practicing and getting better, you can jump on with Jackie. Just send them a note. There's their email addresses. Shoot them a note and ask them to add you to the practice calls. They're absolutely willing to do it. Joe in particular, one of the things that he absolutely loves to do is to work with people on their company story. That's his favorite part of this, is to just work on that and help people get better at it. You've got your group me, you've got the 911 calls, and then, you know, find out from your franchise owner, what would it take for you to have an all expense paid trip to Cancun in January? Now ask them, what would it take for me to go to Cancun? And, you know, and get there. Figure out what that takes. All it takes is getting 1% better every day. This is all about consistency. And my wife and I are both NC State grads. So, you know, I was there when Jim Valvano was there. And, you know, Jim Valvano, if you don't know his story, I won't go into it right now. You can look him up. But his big thing was, you know, you don't give up. Cinderella team won the national championship. You don't give up. You never give up. I do want to share sort of a thought with you on what you can expect from here. Have any of you seen this transition curve before? All right, so let me share this with you. You got a job, you bought a franchise, you got a job with the franchise owner, and you were happy. And you were super happy about having a new job. You were super happy about joining this company. You were happy, but you had no idea why you were happy. It's what I call uninformed optimism. This is where, you know, you've taken on a new job. Maybe you started a new relationship. You bought a new car. You bought a new house. You're in a new neighborhood. A lot of times we get into new things and we're really, really happy because it's new, but we don't have a clue why we're happy. We're just happy because it's new.
Right.
We don't know all the things that are going to bite us in the butt. We don't know all the negative things. We just know we're really, really happy, right? And so what ends up happening is our emotional state gets better and better because we're starting to learn some things, and this is kind of cool. But we get to a point where we kind of look over the top of the roller coaster and say, wait a minute, what have I just gotten myself into? Now, maybe for some of you, that's already hit. Maybe some of you are looking at this going, well, hold on a second. I didn't know that I needed to write 8 proposals a week. I didn't know that I was going to have to, you know, Arlen's talking about being happy about running appointments on a Friday night. I didn't know I was going to have to do that. You know, I don't know, but there's something that you're starting to look at and you're already starting to say, this might not be everything that I thought it was going to be. And what normally happens from here is, you know, maybe you go the next week, maybe you even go the next 2 weeks and you don't land a job. You go out there, you're 10 proposals in and you haven't landed anything, or you're 14 proposals in and you've only landed one thing. And all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, I don't know if I can do this. This is too hard. I don't know if I can do this. This is what I call informed pessimism. You realize, wait a minute, this job is like any other job I've ever had. It's harder than I thought it was going to be. It's not easy to get somebody to say yes to carpet. It's not, you know what? I've run 10 appointments. Now I've got 10 people I got to call back, and now I got to figure out how to schedule follow-up time. Oh my gosh, this is harder than I thought it was going to be. You know, in Dave's case, oh my gosh, there's mold in my warehouse. Now what do I do? You know, it's all the things, right? It's all the things. what normally happens, and even though this is sort of a straight part of the curve here, this is where the transition happens. All of a sudden it changes from, I don't know if I can do this, to it must be somebody else's fault. And guys, this is normal, okay? I expect this. This is normal. It's a self-defense mechanism. It's the way that we defend our, it's a mental self-defense mechanism. Because obviously, I know what I'm doing. It must be that our prices are too high. I know what I'm doing. It must be that Arlen's training is for crap. I know what I'm doing. It must be that our installers are horrible. I know what I'm doing. It must be and the reason that we do this, like I said, it's self-protection. It's just a lot easier to point the finger at somebody else than it is to look in the mirror and realize, wait a minute, I'm the one that's got to get better, right? It has nothing to do with the training or the installers or the prices or anything else. It truly is that I've got to look in the mirror and take ownership and know, yes, I have to put the work in to get better. Now, unfortunately, this is not the bottom of the curve. The bottom of the curve is technically called the crisis of meaning. I like to call it the pit of despair. This is where you look and you say, this is fight or flight mode. This is where people look at themselves and say, you know what? This ain't going to work. And I'm either going to make it work or I'm going to go get a job somewhere else. Now, for some design associates, this part takes all of, 2 or 3 weeks. I will tell you that we had, I don't remember her name, but we had a design associate on this call for week number 1. 5 weeks ago, there was a lady that was on this call, and the very next day she quit. She said, oh, nope. She went through this cycle really, really fast and got to the crisis of meaning fast and said, nope, I can't do this. And out the door she went. Okay. What I will tell you about the crisis of meaning, when you're down here in this pit, unfortunately, this is not a place that you can get back from yourself. This is where you have to have someone else that helps pull you out of that pit. You can't climb out of this by yourself. This is one of the reasons why I really, really encourage you to get involved, to stay involved with one another, to be engaged in the GroupMe, because there's not anybody that's on this call that can't do this. Every one of you can do this, unless you get it in your head that you can't. So what ends up happening is somebody helps you. Maybe it's an ops coach. Maybe it's your franchise owner. Maybe it's another DA. Maybe it's a spouse. No, you really can do this. And you sit back and you look and you say, okay, let's get back to basics. What do I need to do here? And eventually you come to, a place where you can reflect and internalize on what the real story is. And you can move ahead with what I like to call informed realism. Now I know what it takes to do this job, but I also know I can do it. This is not a one-time trip either. So you're going to find that you're going to run through this transition curve multiple times. Franchise owners, you're probably running through it now. You're going to run through it again the first time you have an install go sideways. You're going to run through it again the first time you have a job where you land the job and the customer cancels the job. You're going to run through it again every time there's something new that hits you. But the good news is that every time you run back through it again, the amplitude of the curve, the highs are not as high, but the lows are not as low. And eventually you just sort of start to ride through. Then it's like, okay, this is good. That's where the, what I like to call your business maturity sort of takes over, right? And now all of a sudden it's like, okay, yeah, I can do this. It's not a big deal. So the reason I bring this up is because I've known some really, really good design associates over the years. And I've known some people that for one reason or another, they get down in this point, and if you don't call for help, you can't get help. This is going to happen to everybody that's on this call. At some point, you're going to work through this. Maybe you already have. But everybody goes through this transition curve. And it doesn't matter this company, another company. It doesn't matter if it's sales, engineering. It doesn't matter. you've done something new, and so what's going to end up happening is at some point you're all going to be down here, and it might be, you know, maybe you start off in the first month, you land a bunch of sales and you feel you're on top of the world, and the second month you don't. It's like, I can't land anything. Reach out for help. Reach out for help. One of the best things about this company is that you are not alone. And while we can talk about some friendly competition, you're not competing with one another in the same sense. Like if Jesse has a great month and if Mike has a great month, it's not like one of them's being, you know, if we were all in the same like hierarchical company, you know, maybe Mike is up for a promotion and Jesse gets it from him. Well, okay, that's problematic. That's not the case in this company, because you guys can all be extremely successful and you're not taking anything from anybody else. So I encourage you to stay connected, whether it's through the GroupMe or through some other method. I encourage you to stay connected with each other, stay connected with me. Ask for help when you need help, and don't be ashamed to ask for help. And I'm not talking about just, oh, I need help picking out this floor. Nah, it's not the floor. It's, I need help getting through the slump. I need help because I'm having a hard time here. That every one of you can do this. There's no question in my mind that everyone can do this. So I want to just remind you, we learn through failure, but we succeed through determination. And every time you have a moment where, you know what, something doesn't go the way you want it to do, take a minute and learn from that. And you get stronger and faster and better the next time. You go through this corner sideways and it's, oh crap, that didn't work right. You know what? You just learned a line that doesn't work for you. Find another one. You go through the company story one time and you know what? I don't like the way that came across. Okay, good. Do it a different way the next time. The other nice thing about this is you can go into one customer's house and I mean, just completely mess everything up. They don't know. They don't know what you're doing. They don't know what your company story is. They don't have any idea. So, you know, go out and have a good time with this. This can be one of the most fun jobs you've ever had, or it can be a big pain in the butt. That's up to you. So I want to open this up for final thoughts, final questions. I have no more prepared material. This is your time to feedback anything, questions, anything that you've got.
My first sale on my own, I did the company story, and I think I mean I butchered that thing. It was such a horrible sight. In my mind, I was like, "Oh my God, I am a total idiot." And the customer was surprised, and then they actually liked the video. They liked what I presented, and I got that sale. And I was calling Josefina. I was so excited. Oh my God, you know, I got the sale, blah, blah. And I told her, I mean, it was horrible. It was a horrible presentation, but it was like just making the point and going through it and just finishing the whole thing, you know, from start to finish. And it worked. And like you said, they didn't know. They don't know how the presentation is going to go. So it was just me criticizing myself, you know.
Nice. Nice.
Hi, Arlen. So I do have, I guess, just one area that I really critique myself. And it's, for instance, yesterday I walk into a home and Dan was speaking about this, and it's like when there's nothing, right? Like there's no plants, there's no pictures. This home, I almost even asked like, oh, did you just move into the home? And I'm so glad I didn't, because eventually when I asked, they actually were the original owners. And so I'm so glad I didn't ask, because it could have almost came off as insulting. But it's not the first time where I walked in a home and it's just not that, you know, they had nothing, but it was just sofa, you know, TV, table. And so it's really hard for me to kind of pick at things, you know, there's no animals, there's no kids. And for me, it's almost like And I do end up jumping into the project because it's like, okay, I have nothing to grab onto. I'm searching around in this house. I'm looking at what they're wearing, maybe to see if there's anything I can just relate to and start a conversation on. And at least 3 times now I've jumped into, again, talking about the project just because it's like, I can't find something to just start a conversation.
So you'll find ways of starting a conversation. You know, if nothing else, comment on or ask about the lack of stuff, right? So, I mean, you walk in and say, oh, I love this. A lot of houses that I go into just have stuff everywhere. This is very clean and neat and organized. So do you like being neat and organized? I don't know. Get it started. The reality is you're going to run into homes where maybe somebody has just bought the house and you walk in, there's not even furniture in the place. I've done homes before where I went and met them at the house and there's not one stick of furniture anywhere in the house. And then we end up going to Starbucks to pull product out of the van and go through the company story.
Hey, Arlen,
Right. Yeah.
I've got a question.
Yeah, Clayton.
Because I have a little bit of an attitude sometimes, but I keep it pretty well under wraps. What do you do? I guess the key, is to always be nice no matter what, even when a customer really, really does something to get under your skin, because I just had one get under my skin like super bad on this appointment we just went on.
Well, in terms of that customer, more than likely you're not landing that one, and that's okay. You don't have to land all of them, but you've got to find a way to shake it off before you walk into the next home.
Yeah. It's one of those things. Like I went over product with her. I told her exactly about the wear layers and the mill, the thickness and everything. And Scott came in there because I was meeting him there. And she told him, she goes, well, he told me to ask you because he wasn't sure. And it just really rubbed me the wrong way. I was like, I just told you this.
You know what? You're going to run into those. There's I don't know. There's people that I met that I wish I had never met. You know.
Yeah, I
okay.
walked into a home last night and the wife wasn't present and she was supposed to be, so I just asked about that. And they were in a fight over the project. He wanted to add hardwood to existing hardwoods, which they were horrible. It was a terrible idea. And she wanted nothing but LVP. And I had to, without telling him he was about to do something that didn't make sense because it was going to cost as much or more to do it that way and it wouldn't match. He could put all new hardwoods in for cheaper or the LVP for even less than that. And at the end of the day, didn't you just rip out all the walls from all these rooms and open it up because that's what she wanted? Doesn't it make sense to have something that flows? And eventually I won him over, but it was a real uncomfortable situation to watch.
You did it.
Yeah, and the only other thing I wanted to say, Arlen, is I just wanted to thank everybody on the call. I think I learned something from every single person that was on this call at one time or another. You shared something that's, I have a note of and I'll use to try to kind of streamline my process. But I just want to say thank you to everyone and of course you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys. You guys put in the work, so thank you for that.
Team,
Anything
I
else,
wanted
guys?
to. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, David.
I've been very fortunate to be part of and taught and to learn from Fortune 500 companies and some of the outside of the carpet world training that we've got this week is really next level thinking. So I would challenge this team to be a class that stops thinking about selling flooring and starts thinking about the brand of solution selling. And our brand and the car owners and the car mechanics and the car drivers, it takes a team to get us across the finish line. And I think for a lot of comfort people that talk about those uncomfortable pricing situations, all that stuff goes out the window when you're selling solutions. You can go buy carpet anywhere, you know, team, family, you can go get it anywhere. But we're going to provide solutions that go above and beyond pricing. That's it.
Nice. Nice.
I was going to say also, just with my experience in the home improvement and flooring especially, I've never had more couples disagree on any other industry than flooring. So don't let it discourage you. It's kind of something that they need to work out on their own, and that's okay. A lot of times they think like, okay, let's go look at new floor, and they don't even discuss color, looks, etc. And that's why when they're in front of you, they are frustrated because that's something they didn't discuss. And now they have two different opinions on it. So sometimes it's kind of just letting them work it out. So me, I typically just will sit there blank face, like that's something you guys need to work out. Now, if they're asking me, oh, well, Mel, what's modern, you know, or, you know, what would you do if this was your home? Then sometimes, depending on how intense the situation is, I'll say, well, you know, usually more modern, you know, this is the way to go. But if it's pretty intense, I'll let them know, you know, this is something you need to live with and marry. So I'm going to let you two work that out, and just being very transparent with that, because it does happen and you will come across it a lot, especially in a home.
Nice. Nice.
Yep.
All right, good deal. Well, team, just gonna put a note in the group me. You guys stay connected with each other, with me, with the team. And if there's ever anything I can do for you guys, please don't hesitate to let me know. You guys have absolutely put in the work. I know these are long Zoom days, and I know all the stuff leading up to it is a ton of work, but you guys have done the work, and now it's your world to go get. So go get it.
Thank you,
Awesome.
Arlen. Thank you for your hard work. It's a lot of work
Thank
what
you,
you
everybody.
do, and we appreciate it.
Good
Good luck,
everybody.
everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Arlen. You guys have a good one. Good luck.
Thanks, guys.
Arlen, thank
Good
you.
luck. Happy
Thanks, Arlen.
selling.
We'll see
Good
you guys
luck,
next
everybody.
show.
Thank you.
Congratulations, everyone.
We'll
Thank
see you
you,
when you're in
Arlen.
Atlanta.
Good stuff. Good.
Thanks again, Arlen. Amazing lesson, and I appreciate it.
Bye.
Take care, guys.
Take
care,
care.
Arlen.
Thank you
Great day.
again.